All right, guys, welcome to the Talking Shit with B-Rag podcast. I'm your host, B-Rag. My name's Alex, but B-Rag is the show, and that is the name of the podcast. So this might be the first episode. This also might be one like a teaser. I don't think it's going to be very long. Alex, I think my kid's coming here in a little while, so I just wanted to get it done. So this is kind of going to be an episode of like describing me, kind of like telling like, okay, so I wanted to do this podcast for a while now. I love podcasts. It's got me through a lot of crazy shit, long days at work. And just as a kid growing up around here, I've been told by a lot of people, like when I tell them stories and adventures of mine, like, oh my God, you should write a book. You should write a book. Well, guess what? The new thing is podcasting. And it's really not that expensive or that hard. I mean, it is kind of hard. I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm filming this on an iPhone. I got janky ass equipment. Don't really know how to link up the audio from the microphone equipment to said recording device, video recording device. So yeah, if you see this and you can help out, definitely throw your tips out there. So yeah, I'm just doing my best here. So first off, I want to get into my nickname, B-Rag. Why do people call me B-Rag? Where does it come from? It's a crazy story. It's not really that crazy. It's kind of disgusting, actually. It has nothing to do with periods or having sex with a girl on her period or anything like that. It's honestly a little more vile than that. Hold on a second. So, I grew up mostly in Herkimer, New York until about probably, I think, 8th grade is when I moved the town over, which is Mohawk. It should be all one town. The only thing that divides them is the Erie Canal. But with the amount of people that are in both towns, if they combined, it would be a bigger town. That's how small it is. So I was a skater. I love skateboarding. My cousin was a huge influence in my life as a young kid. Him and all his friends skated, and growing up, we lived next door to each other in a duplex. So I used to watch all him and his friends like party and skate and everything, and ended up like, down the line, like he gave me my first beer and, all that, probably way too young, but, so my nickname originates, my skating crew, there was probably, I don't know, 10 to 15 of us on any given day. Herkimer at the time had a pretty decent skateboarding culture. It was just the mid 2000s, probably 2005, 2006, 2007. Skating was like just getting big, but we all loved skating. So there was a group of us, and we'd always meet at my friend's house out front at this church called St. Francis, and like Saturday, fucking 9 o'clock in the morning. I mean, none of us were really partying yet. We were all still pretty young. And most of my friends were like, 3 to 4 years older than me. I was probably 12 at the time, and they were, 14, 15 years old. And they all had nicknames. So one day we all meet up and we're, skating. Everybody's meeting up. Oh, yeah, just hanging out. At the time, I had a fucking mohawk, like a legit, like Travis Barker mohawk at the time. And I used to put those colored gels in it. So I think that day it was orange. So I had like a big orange mohawk, a white t-shirt on, and like camo Jinko shorts. Not pants, shorts with like high top checkered Vans. And those were my first skating shoes because I loved punk rock. Like I knew immediately when I was younger, the first time I saw like what a punk person looked like, I was just like, oh my God, that's me. That's going to be me, So we're skating, and I'm in like a little group, and there's another little group, and then my friend, well, his nickname is Gil. Him and our other friend, well, a friend at the time named Jeff, were like talking, and all of a sudden this fucking car pulls up, right? We don't know who these people are. You could tell they were scumbags. The person was like super fucked up, probably partying from the night before, still fucking wasted or coked out or whatever the fuck he was on. And all of a sudden, he gets out of his car and he's just like, fuck you, you little skater fucks, fuck you. And Jeff and Gil had no idea what was even going on. They were like a few feet away, and Jeff was telling Gil a story. And all of a sudden, Jeff starts doing this like monkey dance thing type deal. And the guy must have thought that Jeff was mocking him. And in this guy's fucked up haze, he walks over to Jeff and just fucking slugs him right in the face. And if you know this Jeff guy, which some of you out there are going to know, and he knows this, and I'm not talking shit, but he's got a fucking huge ass nose, okay? He's got a big old schnoz on him, right? And he also happened to be, I mean, it doesn't go away, I don't think, but he's a hemophiliac, and I'm almost positive, I could be wrong, so don't fucking annihilate me in the comments, but it means you have like a low blood plate count, so when you bleed, it's harder for you to coagulate, and it's harder for you to stop bleeding. So like paper cuts can be deadly. So I don't think he has it very severely. So this guy punches him in the nose and he just starts gushing blood. Now, mind you, this guy just jumps right back into his car because I think the driver and they knew like what the fuck they just did. Like you just punched some random teenager in the face, and these guys were a lot older than us. You know, they were adults. We were kids. And the guy, they take off. There was probably like 3 or 4 people in the car, and only the one guy got out. And they just take off, and we try to skate after him. Well, Jeff's fucking bleeding, you know. Got smashed right in the fucking big old nose. And so at that moment, I had a white T-shirt on. And, you know, Jeff was a real prick back in the day. And he fucking comes up to me, and he's like, give me your fucking shirt, you little pussy, while I'm wearing it. And he just proceeds to wipe his bloody fucking big nose all over my shirt, right? So it's a summer day, and I'm out for the day, you know? I don't want to go back home. I'm trying to impress these guys, so I'm like, all right, whatever, you know, fucking badass. Well, I fucking, you know, continue to go skateboarding the rest of that day. You know, back then, you left at 9 a.m., you didn't get home until dark. And, you know, you didn't have to worry about I mean, not where we lived. It's not a city, you know? Everybody knew everybody, so you didn't have to worry about creepers and shit and fucking that stuff. So we would just take off, and there was a big enough group of us. Like, usually people didn't fuck with us, but in that case, they did. So throughout the day, we're skating. This blood's drying all over my shirt, and as a little runt, I'm still like, I want a nickname. Somebody give me a nickname. Come on, give me a nickname. So all these dumbass nicknames are floating around. I think Hoss was one of them. I don't fucking remember the rest of them. I think Hoss was like the one that stuck because like I always was a chunky little fucker. Not like fat, but like it took me a long time to lose like my baby fat, they call it, or whatever. And in one of the other podcasts we were talking about sorry. My daughter's 6. She got a cough. I'm pretty sure I'm getting it right now. So in one of the episodes we're talking, and my best friend Chris and my best friend Nick are in it, and we were talking about how me and Chris got really fat right before we had our kids because our daughters are really close in age, so like only a couple months apart. But anyway, so back to the story. We're skating and shit, and so Hoss was going to be the nickname. And then Jeff comes out of nowhere, and we're all still skating and shit, and he goes, you know what I'm going to call you? And I'm like, what's that? He's like, I'm going to call you Bloody Rag. He's like, you look like a fucking human used tampon right now with my blood all over you, and you look like a bloody rag. So your new nickname is Bloody Rag. So, and everybody just started laughing, and like, I just being the fucking little shithead that I was just like, oh yeah, that's awesome, you know. In reality, it's super demeaning, and it's fucking ridiculous that I would even go along with that. So like in the future, when we would be skating, if somebody fell and like scraped their knee or cut themselves open, it'd be like, all right, where's Bloody Rag at? And they would just wipe their blood on my clothes like a human rag. Like that's where the name Bloody Rag comes from. And like that's what B-Rag means. Obviously, over the years, you get older. I stopped fucking around with that shit, like people wiping their blood on me and stuff. And then it just got shortened to B-Rag, which is way better. I have it tattooed on me right here. I don't know if you can see it in the video or not, but I actually have it tattooed on me 3 different places. So that's the big one. And then I have a real shitty garage tattoo on the back of my leg that another friend of mine did. And then I have a really nice one, my rat fink tattoo right here. And the license plate of the hot rod, it says B-Rag, which is, I think, pretty cool. So yeah, that's where the nickname B-Rag came from. And then just over the years, like, it's a pretty unique nickname. You know, you don't meet a lot of people. Like, there's that movie, Malibu's Most Wanted, and it's B-Rad with a D, not with a G. So people used to think that I would go by B-Rad, but then I'd have to explain it, you know. It's B-Rag with a G. And it also, humblingly enough, spells brag, which I do quite frequently because, you know, I'm pretty fucking talented in a lot of different things, especially back then with skateboarding. I was pretty good, and snowboarding, and, you know, pretty much anything that I do, I used to be pretty good at it, even to this day. Not trying to brag or anything, but most people know that about me. I'm just a fucking goofball. I talk tons of shit, which is where the name of the podcast came from. Like I said, I don't know when I'm going to release this episode, but my best friend Chris, I mean, he makes videos on YouTube. He doesn't have like quite the followers or anything, but it's a lot of like racing videos because he was a motocross racer. So we were always just wanted to like make content and do this podcast thing because he listens to a lot of podcasts as well. And we're like, dude, let's make a podcast. And it just kind of, like, we got drunk one night, and we were all like, yeah, we're going to be in a podcast, like, blah, blah, and it just kind of died off, and we never talked about it again. And then I met a guy at work, and I was talking to him. His name's Tim. Shout out, Tim. What's up, dog? He's, like, my work best friend. We were just chatting one day, and I mentioned to him that I wanted to start a podcast, and he's like, well, as a matter of fact, he's like, I did start one. We only did a couple episodes. He's like, but I have all the equipment still if you want to buy it. And I was just like, oh my God, this is fucking fate. I gotta do this. So, you know, I just started a new job and, you know, probably shouldn't have been spending the money that I spent on this to be buying equipment and shit. Cause, you know, now I'm getting fucked with child support and everything else, which is a whole nother story that we could get into. So I just thought it was fate, and I'm just like, I bought it immediately. Like, no hesitate. I talked to my girlfriend, Lindsay, I love you. Shout out to Linz. She's going to be on a lot. She's probably like a co-host. So, yeah, I'll get into that in a second. But so I didn't even think about it, and I bought it. And then I had all this equipment. I'm like, what do I do? And then I just came up with the name, like, Talking Shit. Like, let's just sit down and just shoot the shit, because that seems to be, like, when the funniest things happen or the funniest topics get brought up, or, like, we're chatting and, like, the good stories come out. And it's like, you got your friends, your girlfriend, whoever, and, like, the greatest times ever is when you're just talking shit with your friends. And who better to sit down and narrate that shit talking than me? Because I am one of the biggest shit talkers ever. And for those of you who know me, you fucking know that I run my mouth like a motherfucker. And it's definitely a poor trait of mine. And it's definitely rubbing off on my kid, which I'm not proud of. But it's who I am, and I embrace it all. I'm fucking tatted up. I'm loud. I drink a lot. But it's who I am, baby, you know? And I hope that you guys tune in and you like this podcast, because there's going to be a lot of stories on it, a lot of like partying stories, a lot of adventure stories. Also, a big topic that I want to touch base on is, like, I'm a single dad who has gone through a lot of trauma and turmoil and, you know, really bad predicaments with my kid's mother. And I don't think that gets talked about a lot or enough in modern day society. A little bit here and there now, but like a lot of the narrative is the dad is the asshole and the mom is the angel. And, you know, when parents split, you know, it's always the mom, the mom, the mom. Well, it's like, this is fucking modern day people. Like, I'm at every practice, I'm at every game, I have my kid every other day. I'm paying child support even though I have her every other day, and you know, all the good stuff in between. And family court, I've been there fucking 15, 20 different times. All nonsense shit, CPS bullshit. So yeah, that's a lot of the stuff that we're gonna get into. I want to make sure this is as organized as possible. So that's it's kind of going to be all over the place. So I hope you guys are ready for this. I might just release this as a little bit of a teaser, you know, just to be like, hey, this is what you're looking forward to. So we filmed a couple episodes about a month ago that were pretty much just four of us getting hammered and recording. So they're pretty good. I got to work on the editing a little bit. So yeah, I think I'm going to release this as a little bit of a teaser. Well, we had a lot of feedback. I told nobody to post anything, but of course, you know, Snapchat, Instagram story, everybody did. And my girlfriend had friends hit them up, and my boys had, because I don't have social media. I have an Instagram, but I don't really use it like I'm supposed to or like you're supposed to. But yeah, I guess we had really good feedback, and people were really excited about this. So yeah, that's going to be the podcast. I just wanted to sign on today just to give you guys a little introduction, just so when we get rolling with this, you know, hopefully it picks up some steam. This isn't like me doing a try to get rich quick thing. My girlfriend thinks this is going to be my form of therapy because I refuse to go to a therapist by myself anyways. So hopefully this will work. Who knows? But yeah. So like, review, comment, subscribe. I'm gonna get a YouTube channel going. And I hope you guys are looking forward to what this podcast has to bring. I love you guys. B-Rag. This has been Talking Shit with B-Rag Teaser, baby. Let's get some. Peace out.